I've done a video where I cover 10 Blumhouse Productions movies that I recommend to watch for anyone who likes their kinds of horror movies. But for every 10 good ones, it seems there are at least 10 bad Blumhouse movies, as it seems they prefer quantity over quality, and just churn out movies weekly, it feels like. This list is going to be 10 supposedly horror Blumhouse movies that are more comedy than they are scary, and can give horror movies a bad rep with casual fans. There will be no spoilers, so if by chance you want to watch one of these movies with an open mind, you can go watch it, and not have anything ruined by watching this video. I will put timestamps of the movies in the description below, and also any streaming services the movies are offered on as well. With that being said, let's give this a go. Number 10. Ouija. 2014. Starting out this list is the 2014 board game horror Ouija. Now on the best Blumhouse list, I actually had Ouija Origin of Evil on that list, and that is a sequel to this movie. Not very often are sequels better than the original, but I don't even think this one is arguable, and the sequel is 50 times better than this one. In this one, the movie follows a pair of best friends that are pretty much inseparable, and they used to play with Ouija boards a bunch when they were little, but they always followed the rules. Now in high school, one of the girls decides to play alone, which is a big no-no as a Ouija board rule. Must follow the rules or else something bad will happen. A great horror movie cliché. Well, the girl ends up dying for breaking the rules, and this breaks her best friend's heart. The rest of the movie we follow Debbie, who was the other best friend, and she is determined to get to the bottom of her friend's death, and if that means playing with the Ouija board to try and communicate with her, then that is what she is going to do. I mean, in what world would this ever be a good idea? But in true horror movie fashion, it happens, and then she and her friends' lives come crashing down in typical Blumhouse horror fashion. Number 9. Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. 2015. I am sure by now everyone and their mom has seen at least one Paranormal Activity movie, and if not, they've at least heard of them. The short breakdown of these movies is that they involve security cameras or some kind of handheld cameras that videotape a bunch of freaky stuff that happens, and ghosts and demons toying with the characters. The Ghost Dimension is the 6th movie in the franchise, and it's a tie between this one and Next of Kin for absolute worst Paranormal Activity movie. In this one, a new family moves into a house and they find a box of VHS tapes in the attic, and on the tapes are Katie and Christy from the first few movies, and they are being taught supernatural abilities by their creepy grandmother. This is odd because this was never once mentioned in the first few movies, and it feels like they just threw a bunch of random stuff together and didn't feel like having an actual plot for the movie. The movie then follows this new family and all the strange supernatural things that happen to them. Number 8. Curve. 2015. Mallory Rutledge is driving her fiancé's truck to Denver to meet him and get married. While driving on the lonely road, she talks to her sister Ella and decides to take a detour to visit the Grand Canyon. Out of the blue, the truck stops and Mallory can get no service in her cell phone. However, the gentle drifter Christian Lawton offers to fix the car and Mallory accepts. Then she offers a ride to him into town, and when she is driving them, out of the blue, he tells her that he wants to make naughty movies with her very creepily. She asks him to leave, but he shows a knife and tells her to go to a shady-ass motel. Mallory sees that the psychopath Christian is not wearing his seat belt and decides to throw the truck off the road in a curve to injure him. But the leg of Mallory is trapped under the overturned car and Christian leaves her without any help, in the beginning of Mallory's worst nightmare. Will she escape from the vehicle and from the psychopath when he decides to return? Such a weird concept for a horror movie, but am I surprised from Blumhouse? Number 7. Firestarter. 2022. In this 2022 Zac Efron thriller, a couple desperately tries to hide their daughter, Charlie, from a shadowy federal agency that wants to harness her unprecedented gift for turning fire into a weapon of mass destruction. A few years ago, she was experimented on by the secret government entity called the Shop, and they helped her develop psychic powers. After seeing the terrible things the agency had planned for her, her father taught her how to defuse her power. But as Charlie turns 11, the fire becomes harder and harder to control. When a mysterious operative finally finds the family, he tries to seize Charlie once and for all, but she has other plans. Will Charlie be able to evade the secret agency? Blumhouse listed this in the horror genre, but I think it's far from that. But what would you expect from a Zac Efron horror movie? Number 6. They Them. 2022. Whistler, a pride conversion camp, has been in operation by the same family going back generations. Currently the camp is operated by Owen Whistler, played by Kevin Bacon, and his wife, Dr. Cora Whistler, played by Carrie Preston. The Whistlers have a small staff of 4 for their camp: activities director Amy, her gay conversion camp alumni turned athletics director boyfriend Zane, groundskeeper Balthazar, and Molly the camp counselor who uncovers the horrors of Whistler Camp at the bequest of Camper Jordan. A fifth employee emerges as a decoy within the campers. Suddenly, employees are picked off in a murder streak by an unknown assailant who many believe is the fifth employee. You could tell that Blumhouse was trying to replicate the magic of Friday the 13th with this one, but it fails miserably and had the theater laughing more than it did screaming. Number 5. Into the Dark School Spirit. 2019. Hulu has a series called Into the Dark where they released a different horror movie every month from 2019 to 2023, and all of them were produced by Blumhouse. Being completely honest, some of them episodes are actually pretty fun and I enjoyed watching them and had somewhat of a fear factor. But like their movie, there are the bad ones too. School Spirit is one of them. School Spirit follows a group of high school kids who have to attend Saturday school, and while they are locked away in the school, a murderer goes on a murder spree on everyone that is in the school, including the supervisor. Blumhouse was obviously going for a Breakfast Club vibe with this one, but none of the actors had any chemistry together, and it just felt forced with bad acting. I would still recommend to watch if you like seeing train wreck horror movies and a good laugh. Number 4. Dashcam. 2021. I almost couldn't finish this movie because I was getting so aggravated with the main character, who might be one of the most annoying characters I've seen in the Blumhouse universe. Annie Hardy is a social media influencer who does Uber on the side for a little extra money. To pass by time, she live streams all of her ride-share nights and sings songs of lyrics that the people post in the chat. Annie decides to pick up one of her old friends from college and wants to take him out for the night. He is against it at first, but she eventually convinces him to join, and throughout the whole night, a bunch of weird shit starts happening and supernatural vibes come into play. Premise is fun, but the main character is so dang unlikable. It's so hard to watch this film the whole way through, and I think it's a pretty shared public opinion on the movie as it has a whopping 4 out of 10 stars on IMDb. Number 3. Truth or Dare. 2018. We all know what the film Truth or Dare is, and most of us have probably seen it. Some love it and some hate it. Really just depends what you are looking for in a movie. The thing that always makes me chuckle when watching is the silly smile filter that goes onto the characters' faces whenever they are possessed by the evil demon. If you haven't seen it, Truth or Dare follows a friend group that goes to Mexico for their last spring break, and on the last night there, a man convinces all of them to play a game of Truth or Dare with them. They don't think anything of it, but when they get back to college, they begin getting asked Truth or Dare questions, and if they lie or don't do the dare, they die. The friend group slowly gets picked off one by one because they can't seem to just do the dares and truths that they are told. The lead of the group, Olivia Barron, has to track down the guy who convinced them to play, and she has to find a way to defeat the game before her and all of her friends are dead. Can she do it? Number 2. Black Christmas. 2019. This movie has absolutely nothing to do with the first 2 Black Christmas movies and seems to just have the title because they know it would bring in box office numbers, as the original Black Christmas movie is a cult classic for some fans. Blumhouse doing everything they can to get people into the theaters, even if it means the movie is hilariously bad. This Black Christmas follows a college sorority house that slowly gets picked off by a mysterious killer, and they believe it is a fraternity on campus because they have been beefing with each other for years now after the girls accuse the men of assaulting them. The whole movie seems to just want to tear down men and not actually focus on the killer and the kills that people paid to see. And then when you can't think the movie can get any worse, the reveal happens at the end and you just want to have 90 minutes of your life back after watching. Did you make it through the whole movie? Number 1. Fantasy Island. 2020. In this 2020 film, 5 people win a contest that takes them to an island known as Fantasy Island, where their fantasies will apparently come true. When they arrive to the island, they meet the keeper of the island, Mr. Rourke, who warns them that they must see their fantasies to their conclusions, and they are only allowed to have one. They don't think much of it at first, but whenever the guests start making their wishes, they come true right before their eyes. 2 brothers wish to party hard with tons of hot chicks, another lady wishes she never left her old boyfriend, and another girl wishes that she could torture a girl that bullied her in high school. All of these things happen, but then things start to turn ominous, and not exactly what they thought their fantasies would bring them. The fantasies turn into nightmares and guests start to get picked off one by one, and they have to find a way off of the island if they want to survive. Blumhouse loves churning out this same movie over and over again, just with a different location. Well, that is it for this list. Any other hilarious Blumhouse movies that aren't supposed to be funny but are? Thanks for watching.